From the Ducks to the Beavers, a lot of things went wrong for the OSU football team last season, but one of the bright spots was walk-on Gabe Ovgard. The Klamath Falls product made a name for himself when he picked off Jared Goff in Week 10, but that's only part of the story. Our own Matt Scotton has the rest.
Watson vacates into the right flat, a pump and go. The pass is intercepted. Gabe Ovgard, the young man out of Klamath Falls, in the walk-on with an interception for the Beavers. Goff's 13.
I started flag football in first grade, but my dad, he used to always throw passes to me and my brother in our living room, and my mom would get mad, so I've been playing all my life, basically.
Growing up in Klamath Falls, Oregon, Gabe Ovgard started his high school career at Triad, a small private school. In terms of sports, the Timberwolves are a 1A program, meaning that for football, instead of 11 on 11, they play 8 on 8.
I was on everything from offense, defense, all the special teams, and it's a lot of running because we still play on the 100-yard field. So by the end of the game, I was just gassed.
As much as he loved his time at Triad, Ovgard had a tough decision to make.
Going into my senior summer, my brother talked to me. He said, you could play at the next level, maybe big, but you're not going to get exposure out of Triad. And it was definitely the hardest decision of my life, but that summer decided it would be best for me to transfer, and so I did.
After his only season at Klamath Union concluded, Ovgard received a total of one scholarship offer, Southern Oregon University, an option that was tempting, but ultimately not what he wanted. Ovgard saw his first game in Reser Stadium when he was 5 years old, and he left Corvallis, bleeding orange and black.
From that moment, I was kind of in love with the Beavs, and I always was a fan. As I got through high school, it was really unrealistic, but it was always kind of a dream.
But soon, the Beavers came calling, not with a scholarship offer, but with the opportunity to walk on, an opportunity that Ovgard couldn't pass up.
I figured, I had a shot to play Division I Pac-12, my dream school, and so take my chances.
He spent his first season in Corvallis on the scout team as a wide receiver. But then came the news that no one saw coming. Head coach Mike Riley was headed to Nebraska.
In the past, Coach Riley has said that he wanted to retire at Oregon State, but in a statement today, he said this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity he just couldn't pass up, and now we're still waiting to...
It took only 8 days for the Beavers to name Gary Anderson as Riley's successor, but a new head coach left Ovgard uncertain about his future with the team.
It was nerve-wracking, I wasn't sure if they were going to keep us on the team. I remember texting Coach Beck. I said, hey, when the new staff comes in, are we on this team still? And he said, honestly, I don't know.
Anderson and his staff did keep Ovgard on the team. That summer, former defensive coordinator Kalani Satake told him that if he came over to the defensive side of the ball, they'd find a spot for him. So the switch was made. Injuries plagued the 2015 OSU squad, especially in the secondary, and Ovgard seized the opportunity. Week 10 against the California Golden Bears, every Beaver fan was about to know the name Gabe Ovgard.
He just moved over from being a wide receiver on the scout team to now being in the Cal game and getting an interception against probably the top draft pick in the NFL draft. So that was pretty cool to see. I was happy for him.
It didn't feel real, I got in there and I'd played it so many times, in my head, this type of thing happening. When I got in there and it happened, it was almost like I was just daydreaming again. But the guys came over, patted me up, and I realized, okay, this is the real deal.
The following week, Ovgard found out he'd be starting against the Washington Huskies.
We were standing right in there in Truax, and Coach Odom comes up to me and says, you're going to be starting this week. Don't pee yourself. And I was like, oh, okay, thanks, Coach.
Oh, yeah, it was, and he kind of quivered a little bit, but then he was excited, and he was good. He had to throw him in the fire, and, he played as well as he could. He really, took to coaching and really learned the position because it was all new to him. And I was really extremely proud of him and how he handled that situation because it was tough.
Ovgard recorded 22 tackles and 1 interception in 2015. But the life of a walk-on isn't an easy one. Sometimes he wondered if it was worth it.
It's definitely a thought that was going through my mind off and on, never seriously. I never, went for my transfer papers or anything. But, yeah, I entertained it a couple times.
In late February, Ovgard texted Anderson to see if they could talk. He didn't say why, but he was having some financial problems. Before the two had a chance to sit down, Anderson took matters into his own hands.
I never get called, so I was like, okay, that's kind of weird, but, you know, it's random, so, or at least it was supposed to be. And so I went up there, and I went last, and as they pulled out the big envelope, I knew something was up. I wasn't quite sure, though.
2016 full ride scholarship for
Everyone was so happy because they all respect him. You know, they respect him on the field and respect him in the locker room. He's a genuinely good person. He busts his butt every single day, and you know, those are the kind of guys you want to reward. That's for sure.
I went from playing on half dirt fields to playing in Reeser and Autzen, and so it's crazy.